analysis that the fact it all depends of the players available and the opponent. I have to say, when I was with young Africans in Tanzania, you were there when we won the Sekafa Cup. It's a little bit the Champions League of East and Central Africa. We played with three in the back, with wing backs going up. That quality of the players I had available. The last years with Gambia and some other countries, I played with four in the back. For me, the formation, if it's 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 4-4-2, has not so much influence, or 5-3-2 has not so much influence on being defensive or attacking. It's the individual roles of players in the team and how they execute it. What makes if you are more defensive? You can play with three strikers and play very defensive football, and you can play with three defenders and with five defenders and play very attacking football. So it really depends. Every coach has to make an analysis. If you have wing backs who are very offensive but have a little bit lack of defensive qualities, I would go with a five-man defense where wing backs can go very offensive. But if you have wing backs who are not so strong in the offense, and better defending, you could go with four in the back. So every coach has to analyze the capacity of his players and also compare that with the opponent. So for me, it changed according situations. I play different systems, different roles. Currently, my favorite system is in a 4-2-3-1 system, and that can be also very defensive if needed, but can be also very offensive.
For example, when you look at someone like Conte, yeah, Conte feels comfortable in the back three, so he sticks to it. Wherever he goes, he sticks to it. I remember when he first came to Chelsea, you're a Chelsea fan, so I'm sure you would know. When he first came to Chelsea, I remember he was in the back four. He started with the back four, and they were struggling. They were struggling, and things were not working out. Although he had the players for a back four, not a back three, but then he couldn't really cope with. He didn't have the tactical nose of a back four. So along the line, after some bad form, he had to change back to a back four, to a back three. Sorry, what he knew best. So in some cases, I think some coaches prefer to go with what they know best. What they know best, because they believe that what they know best, because they know how to coach it, they feel comfortable doing it. I know when things like that are happening, it's going to reverberate back into the team. The players will feel it working and things are going well. But when you're doing something that you don't really know, it's going to, the players will also know that you don't really know it, and it's going to affect their progress. So I think Nigeria the back three formation was actually very popular in Italy a long time ago. It wasn't really popular all over the world. It was just popular, I think, in Italy in those 90s that you were talking about. So I don't Nigeria didn't have Italian coaches. We did not have Italian coaches, so that's probably why we stopped. And maybe those coaches were comfortable playing in that back four. Maybe that's what they know best. That's how they know it. But of course, there's nothing wrong if you understand perfectly a back four and understand perfectly a back three. Of course, you should do it based on the players you have at your disposal. But for some coaches, they are very comfortable. They believe they know everything that's concerning playing a back three, and so they will stick with it. And some believe they know exactly what's good with the back four, and then they will also stick with it.
Some coaches are so they can look at you tactically and technically. They've sat down throughout the week and they know your complete weaknesses. So once that happens and you have no variation, the coach just has one over you, and they're really just going to probably annihilate you that day. So
Conte's team, it was after the quarter, would go forward and be putting in those crosses. You understand? So what I'm trying to put about here is that, like, now the flexibility of formations is very, very important in the game.
4-2. And I think that the opposition kind of sussed that that's what we were going to play with. And what we did was we completely shocked them and we reverted to a 3-4-3. They didn't really know what caught them. I mean, by halftime, we were like 3-0 up. And then even our players, being that we practiced it in training, that this is what we're going to do on the Saturday.
Tom, your scout comes to you, Tom, and says to you that this team has identified you as an attacking threat. So they're going to sit back and play 5-4-1. They're going to sit back and play 5-4 with only one man up top. Meanwhile, you are Tom Saintfield, and you want to play with 5 men at the back. Now, to the layman, are you not wasting all these resources over this one person?
Yeah, I probably will not play with five in the back at that circumstances. On the other side, it's also a way to try to make a trap for the opponent. If they expect you to play very attacking and to take risks and to overlap and play with a lot of people on their half, remember how Chelsea won the Champions League several years ago, how they beat Barcelona in the semi-final, if I remember. Barcelona had no answer, and that was one of the best teams in the world at that time. So it's not easy to play against the wall. There are two options. Or if you have a very good target man who is always available in the air to win that fight, you can play with that type of player. Barcelona didn't have it and had to knock the ball very fast around, but couldn't create the space. The other option is playing a little bit poker and trying to not take too much initiative, try to still get the opponent out of the team. But if they play with one striker, I would keep with four people in the back and let the wing backs be more offensive, because you want to have the movements to create the people out of position, and it would be naturally maybe a little bit waste if you have 3 men in the back against one. It depends if there's a number 10 coming fast up, and it depends also if you're 3 men in the back, because naturally you can play still with three in the back, but let one infiltrate to the midfield depending of his qualities in ball possession, and then you come again with only two in the central defense. So it depends really of the quality of players you have available. But if a team plays very defensive football, it's quite difficult. We saw it with Morocco in Afcon. It's quite difficult to create opportunities against them. All we have to say also is a good youth coach, a good development coach, is something totally different than a first team coach. And we underestimate the role of a development coach. And it's much more difficult to be a good youth coach than to be a very good first team coach, because a youth coach has to teach the player not only the technical skills but also the tactical skills according to the age and the development in it. And I think we have to put much more efforts in that to teach players on